Yeah.
New tornado warning. It's right over Troy. If you're in Troy, we still want you in the basement. If you turned up the volume on your TV and you headed down to the basement, I still want you down there. This is a brand new tornado warning. It hasn't even printed out yet, but I know what's going on. It's exactly where we were talking about. This area on the left-hand side of your screen, you're noticing our chaser.
Back time. He was concerned that his big brother had put a bullseye in his own back with those columns he wrote for the local paper. It turned out he often targeted the cops.
He was extremely critical of them. They were a regular foil of his.
So he was taking on the good old boy system.
Stalkery with Jess lately?
Stalkery how?
Kept bringing her meat.
Meat? No, that's definitely not normal.
Oh, no, yeah. Adam is a butcher. He's creepy, but he's a butcher down the street.
Yeah, madam, what do you want?
Let's see what you got. RV covered.
We're going to be cutting in quite a bit this evening. Now we have a tornado warning in effect for Lincoln County in Missouri until 7:45. A severe thunderstorm is capable of producing a tornado. It was located near Troy, Missouri, and it's moving to the northeast at 35 miles per hour. This is the same cell that we were watching earlier over Montgomery County and Warren County. That's the one that actually did put down a tornado earlier today. So this cell is capable of producing a tornado. So some of the cities that are in the location there are Ellsbury, Winfield, Old Monroe, New Hope, and Foley. That's Ellsbury, Winfield, Old Monroe, New Hope, and Foley. And this line is making its way to the northeast at 35 miles per hour. That's generally going to be the motion with these storms. And now I understand that the Cardinals game has now been delayed. It's been delayed. Okay. We got that Cardinals game now being delayed.
It has been delayed.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm going to go back to the radar here, and I'm going to take this cone. I'm going to take the radar off first and let you know what we're talking about at this point. We've got that tornado warning in effect. That is for Lincoln County. Well, my radar is just trying to catch up at this point.
Well, you know, we had to shut everything down after you and Bree just wound down your coverage, and now the computers are running a little bit behind.
Yeah.
But we saw really tight circulation with this storm, Cindy. And so this is part of that same line you and Bree were spending such quality time with our viewers with describing. And isn't it amazing? There you go.
There, now we've got those cities. Moscow Mills, very close to Moscow Mills, possible tornado. And at this point, it's just a
Why don't you track this to the northeast, and did you get the speed on that too?
Yeah, it's about 35 miles per hour.
Okay. Matt's on top of it. I appreciate that, man. So he's going to track that at 35 miles per hour, and I know that we're split screen, so this is hard to read, so I'm going to have Matt read all of these cities so that you know exactly what's going on, but I don't want to lose that video because that's amazing, and we may actually start to see the tornado come out of it.
Steve, we'll start with the communities that are going to get hit first. About a quarter of an hour from now, 15, 16 minutes, the rotating part of this thunderstorm could be right on top of Winfield. Shortly after that, 18, 19 minutes, Foley. Beachville, 24 minutes. Batchtown, 25 minutes. Close to Hardin. So you're crossing over into Illinois. That'd be about 33 minutes away. Nutwood, 36 minutes. And
those are severe thunderstorm warnings running from Warren County down across Franklin County, western St. Charles County. That cell is going to be moving into western St. Louis County in the next few minutes, down into Franklin County and Gasconade County. And then we have several flash flood warnings off to the west, including Jefferson City and Columbia. A lot of these storms now are turning into heavy rainmakers too. We're continuing to get updated information out of this. And I'm going to flip this over and see what kind of hail signatures we're getting off of this as well. So Troy down to Gerald, that's where we've got this large hail, very large hail as a matter of fact. I'm going to put a signature on there for you. Inch-size hail at that cell that's in Warren County and also Lincoln County, so you're getting at least 2-inch size hail there, so that's very large hail. There's going to be some strong straight
closer to the western edge of St. Charles County. It's very close to the northwest edge right now. That wind is coming through Forestel, and it will be approaching Wentzville and Lake St. Louis in a very short period of time with that 40-mile-per-hour movement. And again, be alert that this could easily take down trees and power lines. There could be some power outages associated with this thing as the wind comes through. This line will come across the St. Charles County area. Again, it's moving at about 40 miles per hour. So if we take the beginning of that line and we move it to downtown St. Louis, should be in downtown St. Louis in just a touch over an hour. So about between 8:15 and 8:30 becomes a real problem for the ball game. And they know it's coming, the folks at the stadium, the folks with the car, anywhere in St. Charles.
As we back up and sort of look at just the areas we're concerned with most, central and eastern and northeastern Lincoln County, but next in line for this storm is going to be Calhoun County, then Jersey and Greene County. I think everybody, maybe even the northern portion of St. Charles County. So basically, from Lincoln through Calhoun, at least into Jersey and into Greene counties, think of this as your own storm, because it's going to be you that this storm heads to. And Cindy and Bree were talking so much about this. Where would you go if you did have the siren suddenly sound? Well, you shouldn't be surprised by this. We've been on the air for such a long time. For the last couple of days, we've been talking about, well, this being a primetime day, so you shouldn't be surprised by this, but make sure that out ahead of the storm that you're making plans to evacuate into the lowest level of the building that you're in. So here is this storm. You can see right here, the center of the storm is right over the top of Troy. We also have to the south of that a strong line of thunderstorms that have rest of St. Charles County for the western, for almost all of
this line just a little bit because we've been focusing on where the storm looked a bit more powerful. So now at this point, I've got this line of storms moving eastbound at about 40 miles per hour. That's going to put it in New Haven right now. It's on your doorstep. New Melly within 10 minutes. Stanton within 18 minutes. St. Clair, Missouri in a little less than a half an hour.
That same storm you're tracking right now in southern Gasconade County put down a measured 50-mile-per-hour winds in Owensville. So we know we've got the 50-mile-per-hour winds, and when you get up around 60-plus mile-per-hour winds, you start to do damage. So southern Gasconade County already getting some of those real strong winds and clearly close to that potential for some damaging 60-plus mile-per-hour winds. When you switched over to Doppler winds, I didn't see it, but
sure, yeah.
it didn't show anything down that southern flank, did it?
No, it looks fairly straight line to me. We see a lot of green. We don't see much red, which, if you're not a fan of tornadoes, is exactly what you want to see.
That is Matt and I just checking to see if we're seeing any rotation along that southern flank down there. We do have a new watch out, so let's get to some of the watch graphics. It's probably going to be for the Illinois. Yeah, it's the Illinois side.
Okay.
And it's going to be Clay County, Illinois, I suppose. It's kind of weird that they have that gap.
There is, yeah. And that may be filled in. Stay tuned for details.
Of flash flooding. The most imminent feature on this map is the tornado warning that we have in effect for the central and eastern portions of Lincoln County. And there is the strongest portion of this cell. And you know what, Cindy, maybe one of the things we ought to do is just sort of take a look at where we have the best sort of change in wind direction. We've been calling this gate-to-gate shear, but you know, what is that? That is just what the radar does, is it looks inside the storm and it sees winds blowing toward the radar and blowing away from the radar, and that's how it determines, well, there must be a circulation in there. We're having some pretty good, sort of impressive gate-to-gate shear up in the central and eastern portion, really right around Troy. And you think about the possibility of a storm going through that area and the consequences of that. But gosh, Cindy, it is a very big and long line of thunderstorms.
We've got another developing tornado located 7 miles northeast of Moscow Mills. That one also moving northeast. So Lincoln County is really the focus right now for that possibility of tornadoes developing there with those very strong winds. So that is the storm we're focusing on at this point with those tornado warnings. If you live in Lincoln County or even upstream in Calhoun County, eventually Jersey County. This is a very serious situation now that we're focusing on. So you want to be in your safe place, that lowest interior room of your home. One